Welcome to the Homebrew Review. I'm your host Ethan Stamp, and this series I decided to start up to kind of push for more homebrew content because I actually love homebrew as an idea. However, as we all know, they can be very unbalanced. So that's kind of why I started this series. I'm going to be going over classes, and try and fix them, as well as say what's good and bad about them. And anyway, this is the Blood Knight 5th Ed class. I will be doing a lot more 5th Ed content just because that's what I'm used to. Let's start off with quick build. You can make Blood Knight quickly by following these suggestions. First, strength should be your highest, followed by charisma. Constitution is always a good ability score too. Second, choose the soldier background. Pretty standard. For context, this is a sort of like a control variant of a barbarian. So it has all those nice barbarian tanky like attacks combined with some more gimmicky abilities, which we'll get into that later. Now, as for the class features, you get a 1d10 per hit dice per Blood Knight level. And your starting HP is 10 plus Constitution, and it's 6 plus Constitution every level up. Pretty standard. Now here's the proficiencies. Armors, all armors. So no matter what armor you decide to go with, you can use whatever. Simple weapons, glaives, great swords, halberds, longswords, mauls, and pikes are all the weapons you can use you're proficient in. This gives you a large variety without giving you that overlaying option of range, because the thing is, this class, if you gave it ranged abilities, could have been a pretty bad combo. Like I can see with some of the other abilities, but then again, some other abilities don't work, so that's fine. Tools, none. Saving throws, Constitution and Charisma. This makes sense. Looking at the class further down the line, a lot of people were like, what about strength? I think it'd just give it a little too much more power from that aspect. As for the skills you can choose, there's athletics, history, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and survival, which are all great skills. Equipment. You can either have a glaive, a longsword, a maul, or a pike. So yes, you can get one of the better weapons off the bat, which isn't too bad, because later on the line it doesn't really matter. A Dungeoneer's pack, that's meant to say, but or an Explorer's pack. Fair, there's not much to talk about there. And then your rest of your equipment is chainmail, 2 javelins, and 4 vials of blood. This comes up later. Skipping table, straight to the first ability. Bloodlust. Starting at first level, your body and mind are heightened by the scent and taste of blood. As a bonus action, you can drink a vial of blood to enter the Bloodlust until the end of your next turn. You have a number of vials equal to 5 times your Blood Knight level. There. While you're in Bloodlust, you have advantage on all strength checks and strength saving throws. You cannot be charmed or frightened until the Bloodlust wears off. Additionally, when you enter Bloodlust on your turn, you have advantage on the next weapon attack roll you make. The Bloodlust ends if you are knocked unconscious. You may enter Bloodlust this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Once you use this feature this many times, you regain all uses after you finish a short rest. Whenever you roll a 20 with a melee attack or reduce this creature's hit point to 0 with a melee attack, you automatically enter Bloodlust, except if the creature is a construct undead, otherwise incapable of shedding blood. What do I think of this? Well, the fact is that I just don't like consumables being the main gimmick here. While yes, it is a sort of pseudo rage. Yeah, I think the original rage is better, but that kind of pans out for balancing purposes. it's not bad. I would just change, to be honest, in my opinion, just because I don't like consumables. Because consumables you could just break the game using. I would just change it to, say, blood points or something. Something just... That's my own opinion. I have played with this class, and this isn't a huge problem. Some other abilities down the line, though, make it a huge problem. Now, moving on to the Eldritch Power. As Blood Knight, you have a sinister entity that grants you power, costing you blood, shed, and carnage. The entity bestows upon you a number of powers of Eldritch origins, which you can utilize in adventures. At first level, you know one of the following powers. You'll learn another one when you are 9th level and 17th level. Some of your powers require you to have a saving throw to resist its effect. The saving throw DC is calculated as follows: 8 plus your proficiency score plus your charisma modifier. That's why it has charisma, guys. It's got a pseudo spell casting. I really don't want to read all of these at once, but I will just say the main ones. The main things that are bad, I think. Most of these abilities are pretty on par. They're nothing too bad. There's... If you could figure out a broken combo with these, I would say good on you. But most of the time these aren't broken, especially since you only get one ability. So, moving on. Blood for the Blood God. Starting at your 2nd level, you have a pool of sinister power bestowed upon you by the entity you serve. With the pool, you can channel through the melee weapons, cause more carnage than usual upon hit, equal to your Blood Knight level. Whenever you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can draw power from the pool to add damage to the attack, up to half your Blood Knight level rounded up, plus your charisma modifier. The added damage is of the same type dealt by the weapon to the target. You cannot use this feature if the creature is a contract, blah. Whenever you enter Bloodlust, the pool is automatically replenished by half your Blood Knight level rounded up. You can regain all these points when you finish a long rest. Essentially, this is the problem, one of the problem pieces of this class. As you probably can see right here, there's an extra attack, and this is why this gets a little broken. Yes, it does have a cost system. So early on, this isn't too bad, but when you get later, because it's equal to your Blood Knight level, the point, and essentially you just use 1 point at a time, and it's like, yeah, that's a lot. So my fix to this: switch out Blood Knight level for charisma modifier, and this is fine. Because yes, it's like, oh, you do so much damage at a time. And get rid of the automatic replenish, because again, as before, there's consumables. Even though you can only do it 2 at a time, it still does a lot of damage. Like if you're sitting at full when you hit a boss fight, you can just kill some bosses in one shot. For that reason, get rid of the auto replenish, and it should be alright. Moving on to the Blood Knight archetypes. Starting at 3rd level, you choose an archetype that you face the bloodshed and carnage of the battlefield. That doesn't make sense. Sorry. Choose either the Blood Guardian or the Savage Knight, both detailing at the end of the class, which we'll read after we finish the rest of the class. You choose, your choice grants you features at 3rd level, 6th level, blah blah blah. Essentially just general thing. Ability score improvement, we don't really need to go over. Extra attack, we don't need to go over. It does mention that we get another one at 11th level. Here's one of the best abilities for this, which is not broken, and it shows you why this can be control outside of the other pseudo spells that I didn't really talk about. The reason I didn't talk about them was because I didn't really need to. It kind of depends on what you want to do with the class than it is anything else. Bloodthirsty Stride, starting at 7th level. When you start your turn while you're in Bloodlust, your walking speed is increased by 10, and moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. Now, how does this help with control? Well, this is actually the supporting ability. It actually supports spellcasters that use terrain-altering magic, which is awesome. This is an awesome ability for control, because so many tanks and stuff get physically just get stopped by magical terrain, because now they're gonna move to the condition, which is not good. Whereas this basically gets rid of that hassle in general. Is this broken? Not on its own. The only time this is broken is if the whole gimmick of a monster is terrain alteration. So leave it as it is. Blood in the Air, starting at 11th level. Whenever you enter Bloodlust, you and a number of friendly creatures, make sure you remember it's friendlies, 10 feet of you, from within 10 feet of you, up to your charisma modifier, minimum 1, gain the following benefit. Until the start of your next turn, you can choose the chosen creature gains +2 to attack rolls and damage rolls with melee weapons that do not have the finesse property. The feature remains active until your Bloodlust ends or affected creature leaves the area of influence. Now you're going to be like, well, how does this help control? Well, when your sorcerer or wizard is out of spells and they're forced to use weapons, now they can opt for melee weapons without a finesse property to do that. Which is excellent, in my opinion. It gives the more control classes something to do with combat, to give them that extra boost they need, so that once they run out of spells, and if their cantrips aren't better, they can opt for a melee attack or something like that. It's not hugely broken, and it's not like out of this world. Moving on. Bloodthirsty Awakening, starting at 13th level. When you are reduced to 0 hit points whilst in Bloodlust, but not killed outright, you can drop 1 HP instead. You regain the use of this feature after finish a long rest. Is this broken? No. Especially since Bloodlust doesn't actually last that long, as I said before, it's until the end of your next turn, so you have 2 turns of it. So it's not broken. Unless you're abusing finding a way of abusing it. I don't know how you would do that, but you would have done it if you can get this to just be your unkittable. Cool. But it is only once as well. You regain the use of this feature after finish a long rest, so it's not bad. Eldritch Resilience, starting at 15th level. As long as you are not incapacitated or stunned, you gain a bonus equal to your proficiency bonus on your strength increase and constitution saving throws. So, making it harder to kill this class, which isn't too bad. And then a level 20th ability. Starting at 20th level, your desire for bloodshed and carnage is intense enough to fuel your bloodlust without the actual presence of blood. As a bonus action, you can enter Bloodlust without any prerequisites. You can only use this feature up to the number of times equal to your Charisma modifier minimum 1. Regain all uses of this feature after a long rest. Is this broken? Not really. While it does circumvent the proficiency bonus cap, it's not too bad because it is a 20th level spell. Ability. Oh god. Actually, it's a feature, but anyway. And the thing is that it essentially means you can go up to 11 times into Bloodlust, which is 2 turns each. So it's not hugely broken. It's essentially the maximum you get. So that you get 22 turns of Bloodlust essentially, reactivating it every start of the turn, which isn't too bad. Now here's the subclasses. Blood Guardian. Essentially, you're more tankier, starting at 3rd level. While you're in Bloodlust, other creatures within your range provoke an opportunity attack from you when they attack a target other than you that is in 5 feet. You can make this opportunity attack before the creature makes an attack. Essentially, if a creature is targeting one of your allies within 5 feet, so it's not ridiculous. It's not like a ridiculous range. You get an opportunity attack. This is fair. It's not broken or anything because you have to be quite close to the person with this ability to actually have it applicable. So, yeah. Masochistic Bloodlust, starting at 3rd level, 6th level. Whenever a creature you see damages you while you are in Bloodlust, you can extend the duration of Bloodlust until the end of your next turn. Now, this is actually pretty broken. And people are going to be like, but how? You have to see them be in Bloodlust, and they have to damage you specifically. Exactly. If your party is smart, they're picking all ranged weapons and abilities. You'll be the only frontliner. Essentially, everyone is attacking you, and your line of sight is pretty... Well, it isn't, ridiculously wide. It's wide enough that this is it's applicable to a lot of things, and to be fair, I would make this maybe 2 times per long rest. To be fair, you just can abuse it because you can force attacks on yourself if you multi-class into certain classes. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that it either needs to be once per short rest or 2 or 3 per long rest, is my opinion. There is another ability in the other subclass exactly like this, and again, I said I would put the same sort of conditions on that. We'll get to that. Resilient Blood. Starting at 10th level while you're in Bloodlust, you gain advantage on saving throws from magic. There. Also, while you're in Bloodlust, and you are damaged by a melee attack, you may use your reaction to decrease the damage dealt to you by 1d10 plus your Blood Knight level. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think the d10 can be changed to a d6. That might have been better. Might be better. Apart from that, it's pretty alright. It's not too bad. The d10 may break it a little later levels, but again, I didn't get to experience this ability in particular, so starting at 14th level while you're in Bloodlust, you can use your reaction to make an attack or a spell targeted at a friendly creature target you instead, if you are within range of the attack and spell. Again, why Masochistic Bloodlust would be bad. Also, doesn't have any restrictions outside the Bloodlust. I'd say 2 per long rest. It's just fair. Let's just make that a little bit fair. Moving on. The Savage Knight is an oxymoron. Oh, sorry. Moving on to the abilities. Bloodlust Destroyer. Starting at 3rd level while you're in the Bloodlust, you can make a single weapon attack as a bonus action. This is actually the essentially their way of not adding second wind and have it broken, because it doesn't technically count as an attack action, so doesn't stack with multi-attack. Anyway, moving on. Sadistic Bloodlust. Starting at 6th level, whenever you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack while you're in Bloodlust, you can extend the duration of Bloodlust until the end of the next turn. You cannot use a feature if it's a construct, undead, or otherwise incapable of shedding blood. Again, like I said to the Masochistic Bloodlust, it needs to be restricted to either once per short rest or 2 or 3 per long rest. It's just a little broken. Mindless Bloodlust. Starting at 10th level while you're in Bloodlust, you have resistance to piercing, bludgeoning, slashing damage from non-magical attacks. And you cannot be shoved or knocked prone by creatures less than 1 size larger than them. This is fair. This is absolutely fair. It's non-magical attacks, so essentially just saying, hey, you can't, hit me with that non-magic slashing attack. I'm too powerful for that. I've become addicted to rage and violence. So that's pretty cool. And it's only resistance, so you can't be shoved or knocked prone. So that's interesting, but it has to be size less than 1 size is larger than you. So that's large, medium, small, tiny creatures. Huge or gargantuan are still applicable. So dragons and stuff like that are still able to hit you. So it's not too, and it's not like it able to knock you prone and stuff, but yeah, it just makes things a little easier. Bloodthirsty Juggernaut. Starting at 14th level, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack while you're in Bloodlust, you can add 1 additional damage dice to the damage roll. This doesn't specify what type of damage dice. For that reason, I would say put either a d6 or a d8. Just because a d6 might be a little too little, but it's the safer option. However, a d8 may be fine. You're gonna have to test that out for yourself, because we never really got this far with a Blood Knight before, so I wouldn't know. Now, the multi-classing. This is the most important bit. To qualify for multi-classing into the Blood Knight class, you must meet these prerequisites: Strength 13 and Charisma 13. These are fine. When you're multi-class into Blood Knight class, you gain the following proficiency: light armor, medium armor, and simple melee weapons. Essentially, they're saying that yes, you can't get any of the big weapons to start with, so that's nice. Overall, this is actually a really fun and cool control variant of a barbarian. It still has nice damage output, that it's not just unusable, but it doesn't stray too far from the original design. Yeah, there is a lot of focus on melee attacks in this class, but that's fine, especially because you do get some of the bigger, heavier weapons at the start, so it's a pretty good and pretty balanced so far, outside of the things I have pointed out. And that's all I have to say. For next episode, it's either going to be the Master Warrior class or the Chronomancer class. Originally, I did the Master Warrior class with a guest. Hopefully, I can do that again. Otherwise, I will do the Chronomancer class. Feel free to put suggestions down in the comments, though. I am happy to listen to your suggestions and see what else I can find. But that's all for now. See you next time.